Hi there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on YouTube with the first edition of the Jessie Marie Knits Stuff. Yeah, we're going to give this a try. So, the reason that I am back here just a day after my latest cross-stitch update is that some people have expressed interest in seeing my knitting and seeing what I'm working on. And I have sort of shied away from adding that to my cross-stitch videos because I feel like my cross-stitch videos are already long enough on their own that I didn't want to necessarily tack this on to the end, partly because the video would take forever to upload, partly because after I'm done recording the cross-stitch video, I'm exhausted. And an hour-long video takes 2 hours to edit and then save to my computer, and then another hour and a half or so to get uploaded. So doubling that, I'm not feeling it. So I thought that I might sort of follow in the footsteps of, I know that Sadie, who is, she is the dyer behind Knitter's Nightmare Yarn. Her podcast is the Yarnivore podcast. She does 2 separate videos, and she does them on the same day, back to back. So I thought I might follow in her footsteps a little bit and upload my knitting updates on Thursdays, if I can hold on to this schedule. So we're going to give it a try. And so today is going to be a little bit different because today I'm going to have a WIP parade. I have currently 12 projects on the needles. Yeah. And that does not include 2 projects that are kind of on the needles but not really, and it doesn't include the other things that I am due to cast on any day now. So quite a bit going on. So I'm just going to do a WIP parade. I'm going to talk as briefly as I possibly can about each of my projects, and then starting next week I'm going to do some updates on what I actually knit the previous week. That just seems to make the most sense. And I'm going to try to keep up with that because I did one of these knitting WIP parades last year, and then it sort of fell by the wayside, and nothing ever became of it. So I'm going to try to keep up with it this time. I expect my knitting updates won't be near as long as my cross-stitch updates because I am a stitcher who knits. So there you have it. I'm not going to show any recent finished objects. I'm not going to talk about any dream knitting today. I'm not going to show any recent purchases or recent acquisitions as far as knitting is concerned. This is just WIPs. So, should we get started? There are so many things here. 12 projects, I mean, you know, of course. And as is the case with my cross stitch, I tend to do big projects. So yeah. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to start here with the things on my left, then move to the things on my right, no particular order whatsoever. So we'll just start on the top. This is a project that is currently in momentary hibernation. And I've got to get all of its bits organized because this one has lots of bits, which kind of makes me happy. So this is the Pegasus Wings shawl, and you can see there's no actual needles on it right now. So this is Pegasus Wings, and you'll be seeing a preview of what it will look like finished up. This is by Gabrielle Knits, and I pretty much love it. So this was originally started about 2 months ago, maybe, as a knit along with Kristen. Kristen I have mentioned before. She and I have done one knit along together. I don't think we're knitting this along anymore because I think she frogged hers out in lieu of a different project that was making her a little bit happier, which is cool. I happen to love this. I just love the way the colors are playing out. The yarn here is Madelinetosh. You're going to sense a theme. This is Madelinetosh Tosh Merino Light. The gray here is Silver Fox. And then the colored bits, let's see, the red that you see there is a unicorn tail, and I've shown you guys my unicorn tails before in one of my cross stitch updates when I was including my knitting. This is Tart, which is one of the most prevalent Tosh Merino light colorways. And then there was a little bit of a gray color, like a brown, I guess. And this is Dust Bowl with a fuzzy. There we go. Okay. And then two more. This is Onyx, just a deep, dark black. And Firewood, which is one of my favorites from the set. It's a subtly variegated purples with golds and oranges and some neutrally brown bits. And so these will all get worked on periodically throughout this shawl. So I stole the needles off this to work on something else, and I'm actually going to show that next. So there we go. There's that. This is, I believe it's a boomerang style, in that each row you come back and it gets bigger until the very end where the rows are really long, almost coming down to a point. So that's where we're at with that one. Okay. Set those off. Okay. Madelinetosh Tosh Merino Light is, it's a fingering weight yarn. It's a singles, so it's not plied. And this one is 100% superwash merino. Okay. Next, another project that is using Tosh Merino Light. This one you actually saw in my last WIP parade because I was working on it last year. And then it went into hibernation. And then I pulled it out, and now it's back in hibernation. So this is the Thunderstorm, and it started off as a mystery knit along last July. And this is knit out of Tosh Merino Light in the Thunderstorm colorway because I'm just that creative. And here's where I've got to. So I don't have a ton left, but there's a ton of stitches on the needles right now. I think I'm at almost 350, maybe, at this point. This is the project that I stole the needles for. So you'll be seeing a preview of what it looks like. And this section up here, I just got the first one done. It's a repeat of, you see the ribbons down there? It's not easy to show because it's so big. There we go. So you see the ribbons there? It's a repeat of that, and then one more section, and then a garter, and it's done. So a little bit to go, but this is the yarn that I have left. So it's in hibernation momentarily until I can squirrel away some more yarn, because I purchased 3 skeins of this Thunderstorm to do a fingering weight sweater a couple years ago, and that never came to fruition. So I used 1 skein for a project I'm about to show you, another skein for another project I'm about to show you, and 1 skein for this. One of those projects I'm about to use the remaining to finish this up. So it may come to a point where I use a different color for one of the sections just because I am that towing the line with the amount of yarn that I have left. So we'll see how it goes. So there's that. Okay. Let's do this one next. Now this is in my Fat Squirrel bag. This I got around Christmas time last year. Go figure. And it is one of my favorite bags. I love the handle on it because even though I can't like hold it like this and knit with it, I still like it for like grabbing and picking up. Now this is the Doodler. The Doodler is by Stephen West, who is a riot. He's It's one of my favorites. And this was a mystery about winter time last year. So I'll pile that up there. I obviously got way far behind because I am nowhere near done. Let me make sure I'm not going to lose any stitches here. So I have part 1 complete. And then the next portion, there is a cabled garter stretch here. Then I pick up all of the stitches along here and knit this chunky wide border. It's the weirdest looking shawl, which is kind of why I like it. There's a preview image of it here. And this I'm using Madelinetosh Tosh Merino Light. This is Thunderstorm. This is one of the skeins that I had commandeered for this project. And as you can see, like none left. Hardly anything left. I did have maybe a couple yards that I took to do a couple rows on that, but that ran out really quickly. So anyway, so the black is Thunderstorm. The neon is Edison bulb, go figure. And then the big chunky border section that I was talking to you about, I'm going to use Prairie Fire. So, see that combination. Love it. And that's the Doodler. Oh, I'm going to show you the ball of Edison bulb because it is just too much fun. The neon nature of it's not really coming across, but it's pretty gorgeous. So I shared my my yarn choices on Instagram, and Stephen West liked it, which is like fangirl moment. But to be fair, Edison bulb is one of his favorite colors that he uses rather often, so shouldn't be surprised. Let's see, the needles that I'm using for that, these are my Addy Click Interchangeables, US size 4s. Okay, moving right along. There's so many that I just don't even know where to go next. Okay, so we'll go here next. This is in one of my coveted Mrs. Brown's bags. I managed to nab one before the craziness began, and this is in the pink polka dots on the neutral background with the lime green sort of extras. And I like this bag. It's really good and portable. The inside is really cool too. It's got some floral print. This is a mystery knit along, and it is currently ongoing, so I don't have a what it will look like when it's done picture. So here's where I'm at. I am finished clue 1, and then I have started on clue 2. Clue 3 came out yesterday. So I'm a little bit behind, as always. But that's what happens when you have 12 things on the needles. You just can't keep up with it all. This yarn is like butter. It is so soft, and it's, I cannot wait to have this done because I'm going to wear it all the time, just right up against my neck. It's so squishy. And it's a yarn that I will definitely be using again. This is on, I believe they're US 5s. Yeah, these are on my Chagos. These are fixed circulars, US size 5, 3.75 millimeter. I love Chagos for shawl knitting because the tip is sharp without being too sharp, so it doesn't split the yarn. Love that. And the yarns that I'm using are Shalimar yarns in Breathless, which is their 75-15-10 blend of superwash merino, cashmere, and silk. This is a very luxury base. And there's their label. And the colors I'm using are Petal and Curry. So here's Petal. Wow. Oh, that's the yarn. It's not a real life fuzzy. So soft pink and a green leaning mustard yellow. Curry. So these yarns were one of my wedding presents from my new husband. He said, okay, what do you want for a wedding gift? And I said, to be honest, I want some squishy yarn in our wedding colors to do this mystery, because this is one of my favorite mystery shawl designers. And I want to do it, so that's what I want. I want some luxe yarn to do this project. And I thought, okay, wedding colors, that would be great. So I knew that I wanted to knit with Shalimar Breathless. And I found the Petal colorway, which is the pink that was one of our colors. This was a bit more of a question mark. I ordered these from the Loopy, and on the website, it definitely looks golden leaning green. When I looked at various projects on Ravelry, it looked really more golden. I didn't make any specifications when I placed my order, so I probably could have asked for one that was maybe more gold, but to be honest, I don't hate this. So it looks pretty gold on its own. With the Petal, it looks pretty green. And knit up, it looks even more green. But, like I said, I don't hate it. In fact, I kind of like it. It's a spring green. And I think they play well together. So I'm good with it. You will not find me complaining. And as I said, oh, this yarn. So soft. The designer I didn't mention is Kirsten Kapur. Sorry about that. And last year I knit her 2015 mystery, which ended up being called Liz Christie. That was the blue and dark gray that I was working on last year that I finished up. And I think that shawl was in my WIP parade last year. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite shawl designers. She's really smart, and she has vision. So there's that. Okay, let's do my other Mrs. Brown's bags, because I have another one. This is the Andy collection. Was the Andy collection inspired by Andrei Sunitz, I do believe. Is this Andy? Yes. This is knit, this is fabric. So this is cool. Mrs. Brown, who is half of the Grocery Girls, she knits a swatch and then sends a high-resolution image to a company that then prints that image into fabric. So I sort of have like a piece of Jody Brown knitwear. Not only that, but the color that she used, the yarn that she used, is a Malabrigo in its Archangel, which I have used to knit my honey cowl because it's kind of maroony and orange. Oh wait, is this? I'm reasonably certain that's Archangel. Don't quote me. Anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, so this project, and the reason I got such a big bag, is because this is a 3-skein project. And just get all my yarn tags out of the way. This is by Joji Locatelli, which is one of my favorite designers as well. You'll see her again. And this is the 3-color Cashmere shawl. So I knit her 3-color Cashmere cowl last year, and then the Grocery Girls had a 3-color Cashmere shawl knit along, which I started and made really good progress and then totally lost steam. So this is about as far as I got. Long, long, long way to go. I have maybe 100 stitches on the needles, and I think somebody said it gets to over 500 at the end. So yeah, long way to go. So my yarns that I've chosen, the white that you see there is Dreaming Color Smooshy with Cashmere. And in the Crying Dove colorway, the base is a fingering weight, 70% superwash, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon. I had to do cashmere. The bluey gray that you see there is the Plucky Knitter Primo Fingering. This was a Classics colorway from October of 2015. It's called Poet's Corner. It was inspired by the So I Married an Axe Murderer. This is 75-25 superwash cashmere nylon. And then my third color is the same base in CC Bloom from a Beaches inspiration. So Crying Dove, white neutrally color, Poet's Corner, blue leaning gray, gray leaning blue, and CC Bloom. Hot frickin' pink. So here they are together. Yeah, that's kind of my happy place for 3-color shawls. I like a dark neutral, a light neutral, and a pop of color. It's the only way that I can think of to do these 3-color shawls, because picking colors for a 2-color shawl can manage. 3 colors, whew, you have to make sure that all 3 colors can play well together in varying different degrees and orders, which can get complicated. At least I think. And I know some people have echoed the same. This Smooshy with Cashmere is smooshy. Like the Primo Fingering, it has, like, you can feel the nylon content. This feels so much more squishy. Oh, it smells good. It smells really good. That's why, because this has 5% more cashmere to it. So that would explain why. And this is one that I would like to get back to here pretty soon, because I do love it. This is also on some CHAOGO fixed circulars, US size 6, 4mm. CHAOGOs are some of my favorites. Okay, time to speed it up. The weather is turning. We are expecting some nasty, nasty weather tonight. So I wanted to get this done and uploaded before the storms hit. Okay, just a few more. We'll go with this one. This is being stored in my Loopy Academy reward for finishing my first semester. Isn't that cool? I absolutely love this. Let's see what kind of goodies we got in here. Okay, so this is the Game of Thrones Mystery Knit-Along preview image here. It is now finished. I only got started on Clue 1. I haven't even finished Clue 1 before I put this down. And I am knitting it out of the recommended colorway in the recommended order, because there are 6 colors in this and I wasn't trying to figure out my own order for them. So I'm just going to follow what it says. Alright, so let me pull them all out. They are all in minis, totaling about 600 yards, but just a bunch of little mini guys. Oh, that one vomited. Okay. Okay. There we go. More complicated than it needed to be. So I am knitting this out of, this is Lorna's Lace's String Quintet. So 5 skeins, 5 mini skeins, totaling about 535 yards of 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon fingering weight. And then my accent color is Shepherd Sock. They're calling it Staccato because it's a little skein. And it's the exact same. The base is the exact same. So, here's my progress thus far. Sorry for the needles banging. And this, it was called the Queen of Thorns. So, based on, if you pay attention to Game of Thrones, Marjorie Tyrell, who is currently queen in the television show, her grandmother is nicknamed the Queen of Thorns. And so this is sort of loosely based on her. This I am knitting on some old needles. These are my Knitter's Pride Interchangeables US size 4, 3.5 millimeter. They have a stinky metallic smell, but I don't think it's a big deal. These are not my favorite interchangeables. They tend to become undone, but you do what you can do. So I'm just going to show you the colorways. I don't know the names of all of them, except for this one. This one's called Briquette. And then we have a couple of greens. Green leaning blue that you cannot see. Not really at all. I'm really losing the light here, okay. And then a couple of grays, which will look almost identical on screen. That's fine. And that I haven't touched since the beginning of the Cal. And the Cal started on April 24th when the new season of the show started. So way, way behind on that. This is not high priority for me. So it will likely stay at the bottom of the WIP bucket for a while. Okay, I'll just drop minis in the bag. It's really not necessary for me to have such a big bag for this, but whatever, you do what you can do, right? Okay. What are you? Do I know what you are? Oh yeah, okay. So this is in my little skein in the big wool bag. This was the Little House on the Prairie kit from, I believe, 2015. And I bought the kit and subsequently sold the yarn in a destash. But I just think it's cute. Very well made bag. It's drawstring with a closure there. And inside here is another knit along, not a mystery this time, a knit along, but that I failed at. And this is another shawl. Oh, did I mention I'm kind of a shawl knitter? Okay, so here's where I'm at currently. This is the Looking at Her shawl, and it is by Lydia B. She is one half of the O Loops girls. They dye yarn under the business name of O Loops. They also have a podcast called Fiber by Design. This is Looking at Her. It is inspired by Divergent. More specifically, it's inspired by one of the novella collections called Four, and at one point, Four says something about looking at her, referring to Triss. And so it's really neat, the shawl. We have a section of stockinette, and then we have this section here. This half is stockinette. This half is this twist. It's almost kind of eyelet-like. Here, that's much better. You can see that there. Very cool construction. And then we go back to stockinette, and then another one of those where this section is on the other side. And you'll be seeing a preview image of it here. My yarns are, let's see, we have Malabrigo Sock in Dewberry. That's the purple. Malabrigo Sock is 440 yards of a fingering weight in 100% superwash merino. It's really a light fingering. That's how I've seen it classed most often. And here's the ball. So it's a deepy purple. Oh good, the sun's coming back. It's kind of a tonal purple. And then the speckled blue is this, which I'm obsessed with this colorway. This is Mariana's Trench, and it is by the Flying Kettle. And her, let's see, it's her Glider 2-ply base, which is a 75/25 merino nylon, 400 yards. Mariana's Trench. Now, this yarn is interesting. So, I had her name on the tip of my tongue. I follow the Flying Kettle on Instagram, and she shared an image of this yarn that it was coming to her shop, and I ordered it almost immediately because I thought that the reference was to the band Mariana's Trench. Lo and behold, those much smarter than I, it is referring to the deepest part of the ocean, not the band. So, you know, whatever. That's fine. The most fun about this yarn is that, I mean, it's a speckle, so speckles are always a blast. So while you're knitting it, you know, you've got these long sections of mint, and then, bam, shot of purple. And so then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to knit until the next shot of that color. And then you run into another bit, and another bit. And so it's addicting because you want to see how the colors are going to play out. The rusts and the purples and the greens and yellows and oranges. It's colorful, just like the ocean. So, love that project. This is on Chagu US 5s on my interchangeable set. 3.75 millimeter, like I said before. And the knit along for that was being hosted by the Olopes girls themselves back in March, I believe. Wow, am I really that far behind? March or April, one of the two. Also, no deadline, so kind of living at the bottom of the WIP pile. Okay. Just move my leg over there, get a little bit more comfortable. Okay. Do this one next. This is my project for Camp Loopy. Camp Loopy is an ongoing 3-month-long knit-along where each month for June, July, and August they set parameters for the project. You meet those parameters. If you finish the project for each of the 3 months using Loopy U yarn purchased during the month of each project or whatever, at the end you win an exclusive skein of yarn. So the current Camp Loopy, we're in June, so project number 1 is 400 yards. This year you picked the, so there were 4 options: Lace Lagoon, Brioche Bay, Cable Cove, and I do not remember the 4th one, but basically some texture. Had to be at least 400 yards. You pick your weight, etc. So I am in Lace Lagoon because I love lace. Okay, so I don't know how the best to show this to you. This project is my focus right now because it has a deadline of the end of June. This is the Merwin shawl, and it is by Jessica K. Larson, also known as Goose Bear Knits. And you'll be seeing a preview image of it here. I love this. It's addicting. And I love how drapey it is already. The yarn I'm using is another Luxe yarn, and it is Volmisa Blend. And I don't believe I have the tag. Oh, I do. I'm getting good at this. Okay, so this is Volmisa Blend, and it is 70% wool, 20% cashmere and 10% polyamide or nylon. It's this is a German yarn, so they use maybe it's, I'm reasonably certain that it's cashmere. Anyway, so they use some different annotations for their blend or whatever, and it's in the Ahoy colorway. It's pirate themed, so this Camp Loopy, so I thought, ahoy, that's kind of cool. And here's my skein. Now, blend comes in a pretty hefty skein. All Volmizas are bigger skeins than you get normally. So most fingering weight skeins are generally about 400 to 440 yards, give or take. Most sport weight skeins can be a little bit heavier. This one is 150 grams, so you typically get 100 grams. This is 150 grams, so it is 564 yards. Quite a bit of yarn, which is good because you pay for it. But I absolutely adore this. I have one more repeat of this style lace section to go, and then I start the border. The pattern says to knit to half of your yardage on this section, and I am at 90 grams, and I expect that the next repeat is going to take about 20 grams, so I'll be down to 71, so just under 50%, but I think that'll be okay. I think I'll have plenty. This is knit at a big gauge, which is why it's so drapey. The yarn is a sport weight, and I'm knitting it on interchangeables, Chagu, US size 8, 5mm. So there we have it. Love this. This got a lot of love while we were on our honeymoon because it's got a deadline, the end of June. Coming up here pretty quick. Okay, set that there. 2 more, you guys. We're almost there. We're getting there. Okay, next project is the other thing that got a lot of love while on our honeymoon. And this is a project that has been on the needles forever. Oh, just kidding. 3 projects, not 2. Sorry about that. So, I'm showing you the wrong side. Here's the right side. Okay, so this shawl here is by Very Busy Monkey, and it is called the Meteor Shower Shawl. I am knitting this for the Shawl Knit Along in Eat Sleep Knit, and I'm using 2 colors of Madelinetosh, Tosh Merino Light. The black here is Thunderstorm. This is the skein that I'm going to commandeer much of to finish up my Thunderstorm. The other color is Molly Ringwald, Pretty in Pink. I don't have a whole lot of that left. See, it's gone a little bit sad cake. And yeah, I am loving this. I have made a very small modification to it. And that modification is that this I-cord edge, I was supposed to be alternating between the black and the pink for it, but I'm just carrying it all the way up. What I'm going to do is carry it all the way up and then bind off in this pink. And I think I might try to do an I-cord bind off because I've never done that before. So the reason that I know I'll be able to take some of this yarn to finish up Thunderstorm is that this shawl is largely based on weight. You change colors at weight changes. So I was supposed to knit this stripe section until I reached 50% of my black yarn used. My black yarn, when I weighed it at the start, it was 115 grams, and I'm down to 75. So I'm just north of 50%. So what I think I can do is take from the outside of the ball to finish up my Thunderstorm, and then continue working from the inside of the ball to finish up my Meteor Shower. So I'm essentially going to have 2 projects attached to the same skein. I've never done that before, I imagine it's going to get a little bit hairy and complicated. But I'm going to give it a try because I have to finish Thunderstorm somehow, and I figure that that's the easiest way to do it. I'll have a better understanding of how much yarn I have left if I do that, so that's the plan, I think. I am scared to do that, but we'll give it a go. This pattern is really cool. It is, I believe it's called a blackberry bush stitch altogether, and so it makes these little bobbles on the top. So that's cool. And it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. This is excellent TV knitting, and also in the car for 8 hours knitting. So apparently my laptop had decided I was done talking about that shawl because dropped frames. Yay. Okay. 2 more projects, for reals this time. This is one of my more recent cast-ons. This was a spur of the moment, alright fine, I'm going to cast it on. This is by Joji Locatelli, and it is her Broken Wings shawl, which hasn't got as much attention as her Party on My Needles that just released yesterday. But this is Broken Wings, and this is going to be a lot prettier blocked out. So it's a really simple lace pattern, and it's really more scarf-like than shawl-like, I think. I'm trying to stretch it out a little bit. The edges are in picot, which is nice because it's easy picot. It's 1 picot at a time rather than a whole border of picots. So there's that. And you'll be seeing a preview image of it here. I'll be honest, the preview image leaves a little bit to be desired, just because it doesn't showcase the shape to it. It's very rounded here on this edge, and it's just growing progressively. The yarn I'm using is also Malabrigo Sock, and this is in the Lotus colorway. Blue and purple. Pretty pretty. Okay. And that I am knitting on some Addy interchangeables, 4mm US size 6. So there's that. Again, this is a project that is low priority right now because no deadline, and I am not near as far along on that as I am anything else. But that will be a quick knit. It only takes the 1 skein. So, anyway. Okay, last but not least, this is a piece that you also saw last year. This is in my bag that my Michael Kors bag came in, because it's the only bag that I have that's big enough. And this is a throw that I am knitting for my mom. Hey Mom, if you're watching, I am still working on it. So this is the Hourglass throw, and it is by Ann Hansen. You'll be seeing a preview image of it here. I love this thing, but it's heavy. So let's see, I am just about 4 repeats in, and I think I have to go to 8 repeats. Yeah, 8 repeats total. Long way to go. The yarn that I'm using is Madelinetosh Tosh Vintage in the Antler colorway. It's really more of a buttercream color. It's looking pretty white there, but it is more buttercream. And I have used 4 skeins, about to attach number 5 of 8. And let's see, this is worsted weight. It is 200 yards per skein, 100% superwash. And yeah, loving it. I have 1 accidental modification. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. So you see how nice those little side cables are? Whoops, cabled the wrong way. That happens. Not a big deal. It's like a signature. That's how you know it was handmade rather than machine made. And I am knitting this on some Addy Turbo fixed circulars because I didn't want this falling apart. I knew this was going to be a multi-year project. Oh yeah, their sizes are on the cable. Let me see if I haven't rubbed it off yet. I believe they're 10s, but I can't see it. I have no idea what size needles. Maybe 8s. Maybe 8s. Anyway, doesn't matter. I love this. This does have a pseudo deadline. I'd really like to have it done by the end of the year, but I haven't focused on it enough. Oh, I think I'm showing you guys the back side. I am. Here's the front. So you see all the little cables. It's a beautiful throw. It's going to be so warm. It already is so warm. It's been on the needles for almost 2 years now. I haven't made significant progress in a long time, but I'd really like to have this done this winter so it's not hanging over my head anymore. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. Slip that in there. Okay, you guys. That's it. That's all of them. I know it's not a lot, right? Yeah, I have too much on the needles. But I do have 4 things that I'm getting ready to cast on. As soon as I finish something, I'm going to start those cast-ons. But I want to get something done. Maybe Merwin. I'm probably going to try to finish Merwin first because that I need to have done in the next 2 weeks. So, time to get cracking. So that's all I've got. I will see you guys next Thursday with an update on what I've actually knit on, and then I can talk acquisitions and dream knitting and my goals for 2016 as far as knitting is concerned. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.